or welcome back to my channel. Today's the monthly wrap-up. You know it, you love it, I hope. Oh no. Here are all of the books I read in the month of January. There's also more than this. There's 5 Kindle books and then an audiobook, so we'll get into it. We're gonna need to flip this pile upside down. Okay guys, it's coffee time. So yesterday I made probably one of the best coffees I've ever made in my entire life, and I was a barista, so that's something to note. So you put creamer in it, probably that much, and then oat milk. Okay, and then you add a dash of cinnamon, which is low-key kind of crazy because I was allergic to cinnamon for like half of my life, and then all of a sudden I'm not allergic anymore, so. Oh, I messed up. Oh my god, I messed up already. Oh no, I'm gonna cry. Okay, wait, we can fix. Oh no, I'm getting performance anxiety. We'll just add more cinnamon. Then you add the coffee. Okay, that's basically it. You just add cinnamon into the normal coffee, but it really works. Okay. It's still good. Thank God. I read 14 books this month. The first book I read this year and the first book I started out with this month was Kingdom of Ash by, oh my god, I almost said Cassandra Clare. Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J. Maas. This is the final 900-page book of the Throne of Glass series. Gave this one 5 stars. This is distinctly the best Throne of Glass book because I feel like we finished character arcs. This book, the characters in this book feel the most themselves. I don't know how to explain that, especially one character. This is not a spoiler, but I'm gonna say it. Dorian in this book, he really came full circle. I was really severely like, Dorian, come on, pick up the pace. Like, I feel like everyone loved him, but like I understand why they love him, but like I was like, he's not really doing anything. So in this book, he finally did something. He finally like woke up, and I was like, okay, I'm getting it with Dorian now. So I think Dorian stood out in this book so much. I feel like he really made the book, in my opinion. We also get basically every character's POV and like what they're doing within the final book, which is nice because we were so separated out, especially in the tandem read, which you read before this. Next I read Carrie Soda's Back by Taylor Jenkins Reid. My second Taylor Jenkins Reid book, because I read Daisy Jones in the 6th and I really like Daisy Jones. This book is about Carrie Soto, and she's the record for most grand slams, I think, out of everybody, but if it's not out of everybody, then it's out of women's tennis. I'm saying it's out of everybody because I'm putting her on that pedestal. She's retired, and all of a sudden this other person is coming for her record, and she's like, no, that I'm not flying with that. And so she comes out of retirement. Probably the first like 80 pages, it's about, maybe less than 80 pages, it's about her learning to love tennis and like her journey pre-retirement. The rest of the book after that is her time and like trying to win back these titles and like trying to keep her title as like best tennis player, I guess. I'm explaining it so bad. Like, it's not boring. I think the tennis like is really well executed in this because I don't really know much about tennis, but like I was following along. We learn about Carrie, and she's very cutthroat. She's very fierce. Because of that, she's portrayed really badly in the media, and like the media is just like such a nuisance in this story. It's nice in some ways that like you're seeing how like people react to her, but like it's also like it gets you angry. It gets you angry because of what they're saying about her. So this is like a fiction book, but the little like subplot of romance, it's good. It's good. The ending of the book was like very like, oh, like this is what happens. Like, kind of got me angry. I was like, I didn't want that, but like I understand like where it's coming from, and I can't like be like, I don't like the book because of the ending. I don't really care about it that much, so I gave this a 4.25. Next, I listened to Friends, Lovers, and the Big Terrible Thing by Matthew Perry. I listened to it on audiobook on Spotify. I'm not really an audiobook person because I have Spotify like Student, and like Spotify Student, you don't get like audiobook hours, which is that's absolutely like disgusting that Spotify did that to me. So I haven't, like, I've been on the student plan, and then I forgot to renew it, so I like paid for like the regular membership for like the month of January. So I was like, I might as well like get my hours in. This experience of listening to him narrate his memoir was just so much better. Oh my god, why am I gonna cry? I really enjoyed it. I loved his narration. So good. It's like a story that like you just like, you want someone to tell you their story. Read it on paper. I feel like, yeah, it was just better hearing it from him. This coffee is so good. I don't know what the cinnamon's doing. It's like making a chemical reaction to like all the other things, because it normally does not taste this good. Next I read Hello Beautiful by Anne Napolitano. This is in my Kindle Picks My Reads video. This one is so good. I gave this one 5 stars. It's another like reimagining, retelling of Little Women, but like these characters are like so Little Women coded, but it's not like fully based on Little Women. They just take like some aspects of it and put it into this book. This book is very like, it's very literary fiction. It like is the definition of literary fiction. It's just like fiction writing. You're following these characters that like some of them have so much fault, and like it's just like so nice to like see it and like read their story, because like this I said that this is like such a mundane story, like this could literally happen to anybody, but it's so good. I think the writing was like so compelling in that aspect of it. Like you're really sucked into this world, you're sucked into Chicago, and you're like, oh my god, this is what happened, like this is what happens to these people. And it really plays out like a movie, and I love it so much. We follow 5 main characters basically. We follow the 4 sisters, which is Julia, Sylvie, Emmeline, and Cecilia. Julia meets this guy in college, and he's a 6'7" basketball player. I don't know why I have to like keep on saying that. He's 6'7". Like I can't even like picture that. They meet, and then he like gets integrated in with her family and stuff like that. So it just follows that. Cried so much in this book. Like I knew something was gonna happen like this, but I wasn't prepared for it. So because of that, I gave it 5 stars. And I feel like anything lower than 5 stars is not like deserving of it. But like I can see why people would give it lower than 5 stars. It's just not lower than 5 stars to me. You guys get it. Okay, next I read God of Malice by Rena Kent. This is a college dark romance. Very dark. Check trigger warnings. Do not recommend reading it. Because I don't like really read that genre, and I'm not like really up in arms with it, I didn't give it a rating because I didn't want to give it a rating. Basically, we follow Killian and Glendon, and they meet horrific ways in the beginning. Yeah, be prepared for the first chapter or 2. It's like insane. It follows them throughout their school life. They're both in college. Killian gets obsessed with Glendon, and she's like, please leave me alone. And that's basically how we follow. This is how we follow it. Like there's some moments of the book that like they're like, it's like cute, but I'm like, why am I like rooting for this man? I'm not. So because of that, I just didn't have a nice time, and I don't think I willingly seek out dark romances in my personal taste. Next I read Wildcat by Rebecca Jenshock. This is a hockey romance. I think it's NHL. Yeah, NHL hockey. This is also in my Kindle ads. Pick My Reads. In that video, I gave it a 2.75. Lowered the rating down. It's 2.5 now. We follow Scarlett, and she's like having a rough time in her life. She's dropped out of uni. He's a coach for the hockey team. There she has a one-night stand with Leo. They don't know who each other are. They find out, and yeah. The third act breakup within this book, and just Scarlett being like so indecisive, and like she annoyed me as a character. I was like, girl, get it together. Because especially in one part of the book, she was like so dead set on not dating an athlete, but then like Leo like won her over, but like because she had past experience with an athlete, and I think a Formula 1 driver, are they called drivers? A Formula 1-er. She had a bad experience with him, but then it gets like later on followed up in the book that it's both their fault, but it was like also her fault. Like it's not just his fault, it was her fault too. So that was like, I was like, I'm done. I can't do this anymore. I did not like Scarlett because of that. I was like, girl, please make up your mind. So that one's a 2.5. I lowered that rating down, and you'll see why later on. Next, I read The House and Theil by T.J. Klune. It's a fantasy. It was very cute. The kids in this book, so good, so good. I gave this a 4.25. This is also like a queer relationship. I really liked the relationship that did form off of this. I did cry. It was just so cute, especially in the end. So basically, Linus is a social worker, a caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth, and so he's going to the house, and he has to like, what's it called? He has to not monitor, but like look out or like inspect. He has to inspect the house and like the person in charge of the orphanage basically. And he has to like see if everything's like working up to code basically. So he spends a month in this house, and he meets all these kids, and then they really wiggle into his heart. So it was really good. I really liked it. Next, I read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. This was the book talk book. I liked it. Like, I liked it more than I thought I would like it. I gave this a 4 stars. I'm a film major, so like I love reading about old Hollywood. Like, if there's like, that's a niche trope that I want to read more about. Like, I really liked the old Hollywood aspect of this. My one gripe about this book was how it ended. It's about Evelyn Hugo. She talks about her time within like her being married and divorced to these 7 men. She's like, all the people that I've lived my life with are dead, basically. So she's like, I want to tell my life story. I want someone else to write a book about my life. And so she's picked this one like news reporter, not a news reporter, like a journalist, and she's like, write my book. For how popular this book is, I never like heard any spoilers for it, so that's really good. And I guessed it. I guessed what was gonna happen. So yeah, I'm a genius. The journalist was low-key so annoying in this book. I was like, okay, I don't really care. Like, it's not my problem. Like, I don't really care. I'm like, I'm getting where you're coming from, but like, I truly like, you can let go of this. I'm sorry, you can let go. 4-star book. It was good. That's all I can really say. Next, I read The Story Life of AJ Fickery. I'm giving this a 3.5. I watched the movie right after I read this. Why was the movie like, it like hit every plot point, but why was it so bad? Like, it was such a bad movie. The first half of this book I really liked. The second half I didn't really like. So this is about AJ Fickery. He's like a bookstore owner, and he's like very grumpy. He's had a tough life up until here, and then all of a sudden this like child gets like put on his doorstep. It follows his life. It was okay book. It was a 3.5 star. It wasn't like my favorite, and I don't think I'll ever think about it ever again. Next, I read Say You Swear by Megan Brandy. I gave this one a 3 stars. This was in a different video. I think it was like reading booktubers 5 stars. It was alright. The first 100 pages were in the setting that is like supposed to be established, but it was like very boring, and I was like, I just want to get into the college setting. This is what I came for, football college. This is what I want. Did not get that until 100 pages in, and I was like, okay. Also in the first 100 pages, you're like very like, who is this book gonna be about? There's a bunch of plot twists. It's cringe. Like, the friendship was good up until like the 3rd act, where it was like, oh my god, guys, just like speak to each other. There's no need for this miscommunication. I understand like why there was miscommunication and like what happened, but I was like, guys, just like get it together. This could have been a 400 page max book instead of 500 if you just like talked and cut the beach ass out. Like, within that 3rd act breakup, it felt like a different book because the plot twist was insane. Also, the book like format changed. It was always in Ariana, the main girl character's POV, and then it switched to dual POV of the main guy and then Ariana. Like, because of that like switch, it felt a little sloppy. This is about Ariana and her like friend group. They all go to college together. The guys in that friend group are in the football team. They meet this other guy in the football team. Ariana and him hit it off because she's like very sad over what happened to one of the other guys in her friend group. She's like, oh, this is ruining the friend group, blah 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 blah. Noah and Ariana hit it off. Their relationship, but pre-3rd act, was really cute. I really liked it. There were some cringe sayings, cringe lines, but you could overlook it because it was like so like fluff and bliss. And then the 3rd act really ruined it. Like, they just did not need to have that happen, but like it added drama. And who am I to say? Who am I to like knock that down? Because I love drama. Next, I read A Study in Drowning by Ava Reed. I was very excited to read this. I think when it came out in like September, October, November, in the fall time last year, I was very excited. I was like, wow, this seems so cool. I would love to read that. It's like a folktale fantasy. So we follow Effie, and she is in the architecture college, and she wins a contest to design a manor for her deceased favorite author, and she's like, wow, this is so cool. I'd love to like design that. I love his work, because his work has like, she's like barely connected to the work. And then she meets this guy. She meets Preston, and he is a literature student, but Effie's only in the architecture school because she wanted to be a literature student, but the literature college doesn't take women. And so this book is like critiques academia in the way that like women are like represented in academia, and like the unfair, unjust balance of it all. So it really takes a critique on that. There's also like uncovering the truth aspect of like academia, especially because Effie and Preston, they both join forces, and they try to figure out and like write his thesis about who the actual author of her favorite author's stories are. And so we follow that story basically. Some of the like the folktale and like folklore like things were so boring to me. Like, I just didn't click with it. I felt like the pacing dragged on so long finding the answer to Preston's thesis, and so like Like, I just wish it was a little shorter in that aspect, or like something would have happened to like elevate it up, because it felt like it was dragging. I audiobooked like a couple chapters here and there. I think the audiobook like aspect of like reading this book threw me off, so I wasn't able to enjoy it as much. So I have a love-hate relationship with audiobooking right now. Don't worry, I'm gonna go back on the student plan, so I'm not even gonna be able to audiobook anyways. That's all I gotta say about Studying and Drowning. I gave this a 3.5 stars. The last few books I read Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Infernal Devices trilogy. I read the first book in the Infernal Devices trilogy a couple months ago, probably May, June, July. I always just have to like reiterate the fact, like, I was a Shadowhunter girl. Like, I was Shadowhunter TV show. I was that girl. Like, I was in that fandom, so I like know the world building in the Mortal Instruments, and I feel like it would hit way harder if you did like go into and like know about what happens in the Mortal Instruments before you get into the Infernal Devices, because I feel like the Mortal Instruments really like break down what this world is. There's not a bunch of world building in this trilogy, is what I'm saying, because you're really breaking down the world building in the first 5 or 6 books in the Mortal Instruments series. This follows Will, Jem, and Tessa. This is their story in like 18th century London, I think. The Mortal Instruments are set in modern day in like 2008, 2012 New York. I can't really say much about it, but like this series is specifically like loved for their love triangle. The love triangle is so good. You know when the love triangle is so good that you're like you don't have a team, like you love both of them. I don't think the plot is very strong in this book. The character growth and romance, especially because this was like such a Will heavy book, that I feel like you got to learn so much about Will that I loved it so much. I gave this a 4.5. And then after that I went into Clockwork Princess and I finished off the trilogy, which is actually crazy because I feel like I wouldn't, like, if you told me that I was gonna finish off the trilogy, I would have been like, yeah, you're lying. Like, I don't know, I was just not like really inclined to do it after reading Clockwork Angel, but it's worth it. It's so good. This one, we're like tying off the plot of the first book, that like the first conflict of the first book, because this one was like very like low stakes, honestly. I was like, okay, we're just like learning about the characters. So there wasn't a big heavy plot in Clockwork Prince. In Clockwork Princess, the third book, we're like finishing off that plot and like finishing off the main conflict basically. But we also get more of the characters as well, and it's so good. I cried in both of these so much. They were so good. The ending epilogue, like, I don't know, like Cassandra Clare just knows how to do it. Like, she knows how to hit you where it hurts. And then the last book I read in the month of January is Happy Ever After Playlist by Abby Jimenez. I gave this one a 2.5. And because I gave this one 2.5, I had to lower down Wildcat by Rebecca Genshaw, because I was like, there's just no way Wildcat is above Happy Ever After Playlist, because they were just like equal in my mind. Happy Ever After Playlist, like, I could not give it above a 2.75, and I was like, that doesn't seem right. So 2.5 is like perfect for this book for me. So I went into the story because it's like marketed as like rock star musician male main character, so I was like, oh my god, this is so good. I really want like Daisy Jones and the Six vibes. I just want like that rock star life. We start out with seeing Salone's life, and then all of a sudden she like runs into this dog. She's like, oh my god, I have to get this dog back to his owner, and his owner is the rock star. So there's that. And then so she's like calling him, she's like, please, I need to get your dog back. Something happens and he like doesn't like know his dog is missing basically, and then he comes back a few weeks later and he's like, oh my god, my dog's missing, like, you have my dog, please give me my dog back. And she's like, no, it's my dog now, like, you didn't answer me for like 2 weeks. They start talking and texting more, and that's where the book is like really good. I feel like that's the highlight of the book, is like them like meeting each other and like the banter between them and like the text messages and the flirting. It's like really good. There's an element of this book that is so like country. I'm from the South, so like I'm not like I hate the country, but like I'm going into this book for rock star. I'm not going into this book for pioneer woman, but it's like that, like, oh, southern pioneer woman, like, this is my blog and I have some like recipes in the crock pot for you. I was like, guys, this is not what I wanted. I wasn't seeking this out, and so I was about to DNF this book. I didn't. So I kept reading. The main guy character, Jason, he's also very country. He's like, I have a retriever, I like going duck hunting, my family owns 200 acres of land in Minnesota. I was like, guys, this, like, where's the rock star? We get into the rock star later. And it was like, okay, it wasn't like what I was expecting. It was very like, whatever, rock star. I just don't understand. Like, there's two different sides to this man. He really is two different people. I go duck hunting and I like camping and I like going out in the land. I like living off the land. And then there's also like, oh my god, I'm an indie artist. Like, people love me, like fans adore me and stuff like that. And I was like, pick a side, man, pick a side. I want you to be the indie artist, please. Please be the indie artist. Also, ending of the book, cannot believe, truly just cannot believe what happened in the end of the book. In my next video after this, I do talk about like a little spoiler section. I'm just keeping the wrap up spoiler free, but like I do talk about it. If you really want to know, if you don't want to read the book, but if you really want to know, it's like bad. It's like bad. I don't know why this happened. Also a bunch of miscommunication, like not miscommunication, but like not like speaking out like the truth, so lying basically. And it happens on multiple occasions and it leads to the demise of the couple like multiple times. And I was like, guys, the writing in this book, like the writing was okay. Like I just didn't like the pioneer woman and like the country aspect, but the writing was okay, except for one part where it was like the beginning of like some chapters, it was like 3 weeks later, 2 weeks later, 3 years later, 2 months later. I was just like, I don't care about the time skip. Just tell me that it's been a couple months in the text. Like, I don't know why that irked me so bad, that like it was like the final straw of the book and I was like, I can't do this anymore. That's the end. That's the end of my wrap up. You guys aren't gonna see this until next week, but look at my little Jellycat collection. I have what's this? A bee. I have a bee, little Jellycat. He's on my Magnolia Parks books. I rearranged the bookshelf and you'll see that in the next video as well. It's a reading week in my life, a college edition. I think that's what I'm gonna title it, but yeah. And then I have OG Jellycat that I first got, the little strawberry guy with the feet. And then I got this bunny because I think he was really cute. And then a hot dog. I just love the food ones. Like I just love them so much. I love the little feet. Look at him. These two, so cute to me. These are my little guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for next week where I'm gonna upload another like reading vlog type of thing, week of my life reading vlog type of thing. I love you guys. Comment down below what books I should read next month, because honestly I need some recommendations. My physical TBR is very short actually, so I need more book. I'm so excited for Magnolia Parks. Like, comment, subscribe, you know what to do. I love you guys. I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.